Hey guys, how's it going? Today, I'm going to be showing you how to get the most points per match in My Hero Ultra Rumble. But before we start, please don't forget to subscribe. It helps me out and lets you know when I upload new videos, so please don't forget to subscribe and let's get into this. First of all, let's break down exactly what is giving you points at the end of a match. Starting with placement, you get 50 points for 7th, 100 points for 6th, 200 points for 5th, 300 for 4th, 400 for 3rd, 500 for 2nd, and 700 for 1st. So, to maximize our points, it would be best to win, but we kind of already knew this, so it's not a big stretch to think that winning is a big factor to points. But that takes us to our next point factor, damage. This used to be one of the best ways to get points, but it got nerfed in Season 4, so now you can only earn a maximum of 300 points to your total score with damage. But I'll still go over it. It's pretty easy. At the end of a match, the game adds up the total damage you did during a match and gives you points based on how much you did in the game. The game gives you 100 points per 1000 damage, so as long as we get at least 3000 damage, we will reach the cap for points. Here, I guess they changed this because it was extremely easy to get to ace rank in the previous seasons, and players could just third party for damage and run away, and by the end of the match, they would have at least 7 to 9k damage and get a ton of points for it. So I guess this is King's way of trying to stop that. And I feel like it's worked. I hardly ever see players farming for damage anymore. Next is KOs. Again, this is pretty easy. Every time you KO someone, it counts as 1 KO, and it will be added to your final score. A change was made a while ago, so now, as long as you get the down, even if the player is finished by someone else, you will get the KO credit. This was a huge issue during Season 1, where it only counted if you were the one to deal the final blow. So, even if you knocked a player down, if someone else dealt the final blow, they would get the KO credit instead of you. But thankfully, this has been changed. Anyway, you get 125 points per KO, so the more KOs you do, the more points you'll get. This is a little side note because I see a lot of people do this. If you down someone, please try and make sure that you actually finish them. I see this so much. People will down someone, but because there are other teams close by, they run away, and then the player that got downed just gets back up and you don't get the points. So please remember to finish your knocks, if you can. Moving on to the next one, which is very similar to KOs, we have KO assists. This is exactly the same as KOs, but for this, assists. If you are fighting an enemy with your team and someone on the team downs them, if you were also fighting that enemy or had done damage to that enemy, you'll get points for assisting them. The same as KOs, you get 125 points per assist. So even if you didn't get the kill, you'll still get the same amount of points as one if you were assisting. Also, this only works if the enemy you down is being fought by one of your teammates. If you got some damage on an enemy that another enemy team is fighting and they get down, you won't get the KO assist. Next is total team KOs. This is one you don't really need to pay attention to since it's pretty much the same as your total KOs. But with this one, the KOs of your teammates are also being counted. You get 25 points per kill, so let's say in total your team got 13 KOs. You and your teammates would all get 325 points each. This is a really good way to get extra points, and if you're on a team with players you know have a high KO count, you'll get a ton of points. A few weeks ago, me, Boku, and Magana had a really good game where we got 21 total KOs. That's the entire lobby. We didn't KO everyone in the lobby. 2 of the teams in that match kept reviving their teammates, and we kept KOing them, they kept bringing them back, KO, bring back, and in total we ended up with 525 points from this, which is crazy. Realistically, that's not going to happen every single game, that's a once in a while type of thing, but I mentioned this just to tell you that it is very much possible. And the final way for us to get points is something that was added in Season 3, but a lot of people still don't utilize this, and that's ally support. You get support points by helping civilians, giving teammates items or cards, and reviving teammates. Doing all these will bring your allies' support up, but sadly, like with damage, this one is also capped at 300. But I can kind of understand this one, since if it wasn't capped, you and a teammate could just constantly throw potions at each other and get an infinite amount of points. But it is definitely worth doing all of these things, even if it's not for the points, because all of these things are just things that a good teammate would be doing anyway. Now that we know how we can get points from everything the game has to offer, let's run through a hypothetical god tier match and see how many points we could get theoretically. So let's say we come first place, that's 700 points. And we have 8k damage, so that would cap at 3000 and give us 300 points. So already we have 1000 points. Assuming we are ace rank, this would clear the entry cost, so anything from this point puts us into the positive. Next is KOs. Let's say we get 9 total KOs. That would give us 1125 points. Next is KO assists. Let's assume that our teammates are also having a god game, and one gets 9 KOs and the other gets 6 KOs. And we all helped each other with every KO. That would give us 15 KO assists, which would be 1875. So, as you can see, it's definitely worth getting assists if possible. Next is total team KOs. In total, we got 24 kills. That would add up to 600 points. And finally, ally support, which we can also easily cap at 300 points by helping civilians and just being a good teammate in general. After adding all of these points up, we get the grand total of 4,900 points, which is insane. We do have to take away 1,000 points for the entry fee, but even with that, we still have 3,900 points. And if you're not ace rank, this will be slightly higher. I will say though, for this to be possible, we would need the enemy teams to be reviving their fallen teammates. But I have noticed lately that people are reviving a lot more now, so this is very much possible. The only downside is that you would have to play a super aggressive playstyle for 95% of the match, with the other 5% going towards working on ally support. But yeah, that's crazy, 4,900 points total. Let me know down in the comments what's the most points you've gotten in a match. My name is Webervarlo, I hope you enjoyed the video, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.